Okay, so this is either going to be interesting or it's just going to be a complete disaster. Hey everyone, it's Christian with Vertigo Views, and you're probably wondering, why are you echoing so much? And then I'm going to tell you it's because I'm in my bathroom. And then your next reasonable question is going to be, why are you filming a video in your bathroom? I, about an hour ago, decided that I was going to make a video while I was dyeing my hair. So I thought we could maybe do a sort of get ready with me situation, but instead of get ready with me, it's dye your hair with me. And we can just kind of talk about some of the things we've enjoyed about theme parks this year, some news that's come out, basically anything that pops in my head that I kind of want to talk about. May end up not even really being all related to theme parks, but I figured I'm going to be dyeing my hair, so why not record this and try and have a conversation with you all and maybe try and make some content that's kind of interesting and unique. I don't see a lot of theme park people dyeing their hair and talking to you about theme parks, do you? Because I know I don't. Okay, so a little bit about my hair dyeing journey. So as you can tell, I do bleach my hair. It's something I've done for a few years. I love it. It feels very natural to me. You will notice that over here on the sides right now, it doesn't look super bleached. And that's because the sides of my head have never really been able to hold any kind of dye or bleach or anything. So what I normally do is I bleach it a night or two before I'm gonna get my hair cut because I get skin fades, so then it all blends out really well. You'll see it's a little imperfect down here on the sides, but that's okay. I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow and trust me, it'll all make sense. But way back, I mean, in my junior high school days, I was dyeing my hair. I can pop some pictures up here on the screen. I've pretty much dyed my hair almost every color you can think of. And one of the first colors I dyed it was red. And it's spooky season and I love Halloween. And my hair has just been blonde for a few years now. It's been a while since I actually dyed it. And so I thought I would kind of go back to my roots and I would dye my hair red. So I was looking for some options for red hair dye. So for hair dye brands that I've used before, I've used Manic Panic. I've used Good Dye Young, which is owned by Hayley Williams of Paramore, and we love her. I've used Mondo X, I believe, is Brad Mondo's hair dye. That's pretty good. I've used a few others as well. I've used like Box hair dye in the past. I don't really do that as much anymore, but I wanted to try to find a brand where I don't necessarily want to keep my hair red for a really long time. This isn't something where I'm like, oh, I want to keep my hair red for 6 months, unless I do this and fall in love with it. So I was looking for brands that are reputable, that have good reviews, but will also come out of the hair a little easier. And so I settled on this newer brand I'm not super familiar with, but it's called Medusa. I'm not sure if you will all be able to see that or not. I haven't used this brand before, but I did some research and it looks like they are LGBTQ plus family. I believe they're actually women owned. Their product seems like it's conditioning, which is going to be really good for me because I have bleached hair, and when you bleach your hair, it just dries it out. There's no way to really avoid that. It has good reviews, and it seems like it's pretty easy to get out if I do want to actually take it out of my hair. It's semi-permanent, which means that hopefully I'll be able to use something like a color Oops or bleach over it, do a bleach bath, have a few different options of ways to get it out of my hair if I decide to kind of go a different direction in a few weeks. I want to try and keep it for about a month and then see what I'm feeling from there. So, some hair dye essentials. When you're dyeing with color, you need some plastic gloves because this color will stain. It will stain everything. It will stain your hands, it will stain your skin, it will stain your bathtub, it will stain your sink. So I'm really hoping that my kitchen sink later does not look like a literal bloodbath stained with red. Some other essentials, I got this whenever I started bleaching my hair. It's just like a bowl and a brush that you can use to sort of mix things if you need to. I don't think I necessarily am going to be mixing too much today, but this will be kind of good to just sort of use to like get on my hair and move it around. Petroleum jelly. This is really great to put around areas on your head where you know you're going to be putting dye around or near there, but you don't want to dye it. So I'm going to be putting it around my hairline the whole way around my head because basically dye will not stick to this. And then you just wash this off of your skin and it's like there's no color there or anything. So I'm going to be applying this on my forehead, on my ears, probably down on the back of my neck, just places that I know might be kind of easy to get stained with me kind of like moving my hands around, dyeing my hair and putting this red on my head. I didn't necessarily want to be like, oops, I just accidentally like smeared it over here like on my skin because I don't want to dye my skin. I want to dye my actual hair. And then I have a brush that came with Good Die Young whenever I bought some of their products a while ago, just in case I want to comb it through and make it a little even. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with the hair dyeing process and start talking, but first I need to switch into something a little more comfortable. Yes, I'm going to be shirtless for this video and I'm going to need you all to just deal with it because I don't want to stain any pieces of clothing that I have. Let's talk a little bit about the theme park season. So obviously I feel like the big thing that happened this year was Epic Universe at Universal. I'm trying to open this hair dye and it has like this like film on it and it's not easy to peel off, and maybe that was intentional because I don't want things to spill, but I'm kind of like, excuse me, can I? Oh, there we go. Okay, just broke through it. Ooh. Looks like blood. I am very fortunate and thrilled to have been there 3 times now. I just got back from my most recent trip. I highly recommend everybody try to visit. It's a great park. I will say I don't think it's a perfect park quite yet. I think it could use a few more things. I think it could use one more like really thrilling attraction, and it could probably use 1 or 2 more indoor rides and maybe a water ride as well. I think that although I love Dark Universe, like it's probably my favorite portal that they have there currently, I will say that I think it's probably the most incomplete land, and I think that they could definitely use something towards the back of that land because it just feels a little small right now. One of the rumors is that it's going to be a boat ride themed to Creature from the Black Lagoon. Please let that happen. But it's a great park. Obviously, a lot of theme park enthusiasts have been going and giving their different opinions on it. I love it. Like I said, I don't think it's a perfect park. I think Islands is still my favorite theme park that I've been to, but like Epic is probably second. I just went with a friend who's not a big theme park person because I'm always curious what non-theme park people think when I take them to a theme park when we're visiting somewhere. And he was like, oh yeah, this is the best theme park I've been to. He like didn't even really have to think about it. He was kind of just like, yeah, best theme park that I've been to. So I think that the park itself is great. I love Celestial Park. I love that like middle section. I know a lot of people don't, but I kind of like that the portals are not all interconnected and you have to walk through the middle to get to the different portals because it's kind of like a palate cleanser and it's like a way for you to sort of take some time. And I really like that. And the food in Celestial Park is great. I just stayed at the Grand Helios Hotel, or the Helios Grand Hotel. I always do that. I don't know if that's just me or if anyone else has the issue where they call it the Grand Helios, like it's the Grand Floridian or something. But I just stayed at the Helios Grand Hotel, and that hotel, we got upgraded to a park view room unintentionally. We just had a really great concierge person, shout out to Colette, and she upgraded our room to a park view room, and it's great. I love that hotel. I've now officially, by the way, stayed at all the Universal Orlando hotels on property because we also stayed at Royal Pacific the last time I went. So hopefully soon I'll be giving my rankings of those to you all. I think I've kind of figured out what my favorites are, what my least favorites are, but spoiler alert, there's not a bad Universal Orlando hotel. Okay, so this is sort of what the dye looks like. I can't really tell if you're going to be able to see any of this, but I'm really going for more of a dark red. I didn't want to be like a fire truck red. I'm really going for like a dark red, something that you can tell is red, but you can't really super tell until you're like in the sunlight or something. You know, I'm not looking for like a fire truck. So I'm curious if this is going to actually be dark enough. If I decide to do this color again and it isn't dark enough, what I can do is I can just order some black semi-permanent color, put a few drops in, mix it together until I get the right color that I want. But we're about to try this. All right, so now I'm going to be applying the petroleum jelly on areas of my skin that I don't want to get dyed red. But obviously Epic Universe has been a really big deal this year. I don't know, I feel like people, and I think that this is kind of just culture in general right now, but I feel like people were really wanting it to fail. There were a lot of people that were saying like, oh, like it's not going to be successful or no one's going to want to go. And like, maybe I'm like not correct in this, but I feel like Comcast had their earnings call recently and they were like, oh no, attendance at the parks is like way up. So it seems like Epic Universe is a big success. I will say, obviously, like I think most of the traffic is going to Epic Universe and not the other Universal hotels. Like I'm sure that all the hotels are seeing a little bit of a boost, but the focus is Epic. Like it's not like all of a sudden way more people just went to Universal Orlando for no reason. The focus is clearly Epic Universe. In fact, I went for twice during previews for Epic Universe this spring, and when I was there, I actually the next day after I went, because I stayed overnight, I went to Islands of Adventure for early theme park entry, and I wasn't even planning on riding Hagrid's. I just wanted to go to ride Velocicoaster because I hate the Hagrid's line so much. But I got there right when the early theme park admission gates were opening, and normally the line is like at least to the bridge, usually past that bridge at Islands of Adventure and City Walk. I walked right to the gate, and that was literally as they were opening it. I walked to Hagrid's and walked on Hagrid's within 20 minutes. So the emphasis has really been on Epic Universe. I think that it is starting to like die down a little bit because I know that they just announced that they are like letting cast members visit. I'm really hoping that they let those of us with annual passes start visiting because I don't want to have to pay like $150 every single time that I visit Epic Universe. I'd really like to be able to just go. But yeah, Epic Universe is great. I just got back from, like I said, Universal Orlando and went to Halloween Horror Nights, and that was amazing. It's just, I'm such a Halloween stan, and I just love that event so much. Like, the food is fun. I went with a friend who doesn't always go, because I have one set of friends that we go every year, but he doesn't normally go with us, and it was really cool just being like, walking him around and like showing him things he might not have seen before when he went, and just, I really like doing that, especially when it's a place like Universal, where it's like, I've been there so many times that a lot of the stuff there is like second nature to me. Like, I don't feel as stressed out when I'm there anymore, and like I have to do everything all at once because I go quite a bit. And so I like kind of letting people like decide what we want to do, and I can be like, hey, here's the stuff that like I find is really interesting, like what do you want to do? Like, you tell us like if you want to do it or not, because it doesn't matter as much to me. Like, I'm not in a rush to do everything unless there's like something new that year that I want to try out for the first time. But it's just really cool like showing off something that I love so much to friends, and I don't get to do it that often because unfortunately I have a very expensive hobby, and so it's expensive to go to theme parks, particularly Universal, and particularly when we got annual passes, but we still had to get tickets for Epic Universe. We got Express Pass for Epic because we were only going one day, and then we went to Halloween Horror Nights. And I tell everybody, if you're going to Halloween Horror Nights once, you should just consider Express as part of the ticket. So we had to buy Express for Halloween Horror Nights as well to be able to do all the haunted houses. So I mean, it was an expensive trip, and I told him, I was like, our trips are not always this expensive. Like, we don't normally have to pay for like another theme park. Like, all the theme parks are normally included in our annual pass, but they're just, Epic isn't included in the annual passes right now because they're trying to manage those crowds. So it was just really cool being able to go with someone and just like hang out and show off and, you know, get their opinion on things, because I love getting like outsiders and the general public's opinion on things and what they think about the parks and what they would improve and everything. I just find that really interesting. So I was talking to somebody recently and it was like, I haven't been to Disney in a while. I don't think I've been to Disney since late November, December 2023, and I've been to Universal so much. Here's my thing with Disney is right now, I honestly just feel like Universal is killing it, and I think that Universal is the better value right now. But I am excited about some of the stuff that Disney World is doing. I'm really excited about Villains Land. I'm really excited about the fact that they're expanding that. I'm really excited about the possibilities that are at Disney. I think that's one of the reasons I get frustrated with it, is because, you know, for example, sometimes I feel like Disney doesn't know their own audience. Like, they were like, yeah, we noticed at D23 when we mentioned the possibility of a Villains Land, people responded really well to that. Like, they were shocked, and I was like, girl, where have you been? Like, this is not a new thing that people have been wanting. So that's my thing with Disney, is I think it is very expensive for what you get, and I do sometimes wish that they sort of like took advantage more of things that like people actually wanted to see at the parks as opposed to like what they were deciding to do. But don't get me wrong, I love Disney. It's just, you know, I can't afford to go to every theme park all the time, so I kind of have to pick and choose. Ideally, I would like to get down there and do Rock and Roller Coaster one more time before it shifts from Aerosmith to the Muppets, because I love the Muppets. I'm super excited that that's the theme that they went with. That ride made me realize how much I like Aerosmith the very first time I went to Disney, so I kind of have like this nostalgia spot for it, and so I really want to try to get there one last time and ride it before they retheme it. I'm also not thrilled about the fact that my favorite Disney theme park, Animal Kingdom, is getting a ride based on my least favorite Disney movie, Encanto. So we're not going to talk about that right now. Let's start. Oh, okay, the first brush is honestly the worst one, because you're like, am I sure I want to do this? And then once you get that first one on there, you kind of just start painting everything on. Also smells really good. I watched a review where she was like, I don't know if I like the smell of this, but she's right, it does smell like powdery. It smells almost like baby powder almost. It's like baby powder mixed with the beach. It probably doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of what I feel like it smells like. I haven't been to Six Flags. I've only been to Six Flags Over Georgia. For those of you that don't know, I'm local to Atlanta. I've only been to that park once this year, which is really weird. Normally, I feel like I go a lot more. I haven't even been for Fright Fest yet. One of the reasons is because I don't have a car, because I live in the city, and I'm luckily able to take public transportation most places that I want to go. And getting to Six Flags Over Georgia is a little bit of a pain because on weekends, it's kind of far anyway, but they also like sometimes do what they call single tracking, which means the line schedules kind of get all messed up. And so it gets kind of hard to get out there because like everything just doesn't line up as much as I would like. And to be honest, the park isn't in like a great area at night. And so I'm a little nervous and hesitant to just sort of like be out there at night taking public transportation, like waiting for the bus and everything. So I haven't done Fright Fest yet. I'm not sure if I'll go out there for it this year. I'd like to try to, but maybe even if I don't go for like the Fright Fest stuff, I'll go for like just, you know, during the day fall stuff. I gotta be honest, the Halloween event at Six Flags Over Georgia is not my favorite. It was better last year than it has been in years past, but like that was a really low bar. It just like, they keep like most of the lights on. Like it's not that scary. For those of you that don't know, like you have to pay extra to do the mazes. It's just not worth it. Like, I'm sorry, like it's just not worth to like spend the money to like get in there, spend money on food and everything, and then have to spend like $30 for the quality of houses that you get. Like even with HHN at Universal, it's like you pay one price to get in and then you're just in. Like you don't have to pay for extra to then do the mazes. We'll see if I end up going. I'm also kind of sad because they canceled Holiday in the Park this year. So for those of you that don't know, they cut a lot of Holiday in the Park programs from the Six Flags parks. And one of the places that they cut them was from here in Atlanta. And so I'm kind of sad because I really liked that event, but I can't say I was super surprised because one of the reasons I liked going was because it was never busy, because it was easy to just sort of hop in line for things. But it was so pretty though. Like the way that they made that park look with all the lights and the trees and everything. Like I actually am gonna really miss that event because sometimes they had some fun food. Of course, for like kids, you could do things like meet Santa. So I even saw some of the shows last year, and honestly for like a regional park, like they weren't that bad. So I'm really sad that they got rid of that event. I do hope that maybe they bring it back in some form in the future. I feel like maybe they didn't market it enough because it gets chilly in Atlanta during Holiday in the Park time, but it doesn't get super cold. So I don't know why people wouldn't want to go to it. I think honestly, a lot of people didn't know that the park was open because even years ago, I remember people being like, oh, the park is open right now. And it's like, yeah, it's been open around this time for like years. So I think a lot of people just didn't know it was a thing and they didn't really market it well enough. And so I think that that is probably part of the problem as to why there was nobody going to this event. But I'm really sad that they canceled it. But you know, if they have to make cuts somewhere, I'm glad that they like canceled. They probably looked at the numbers and were just like, we're not bringing in enough to justify doing this. They canceled it at a lot of other parks. For those of you that don't know, it seems like the new Six Flags, it's now the merged Six Flags and Cedar Fair. It seems like they're kind of like having some troubles, which is unfortunate. Like they're getting a new CEO. I just saw that like members of the board are stepping down. Apparently like the attendance hasn't been great. Like I think they just don't know what to do. I'm kind of happy because they've said on calls that some of the parks they really want to invest in. Like they've listed like the Texas parks, they've listed over Georgia, which I'm thrilled about. And of course like parks like Great Adventure in New York, Magic Mountain, California. So it seems like they do want to start investing in parks. And I will say that like earlier this year when I went to Six Flags Over Georgia, it was the best the park had ever looked. It was the best the park was ever operating. So unfortunately, I think that what they're going to have to do for the next few years is kind of damage control and kind of like get people to come back to the park, because honestly, I think for a while they weren't going because they weren't having a good experience. So they might have to just deal with the fact that their attendance is going to be low for a bit. And once their reputation and word starts to get out that, oh, Six Flags is good again, like it's worth going to, it's not that bad, I think more people will start coming. But I hope they continue investing in the parks. I know at some parks it seems like are kind of like getting the shaft with things, but like I said, they've said that they want to invest in the Georgia park, and I think they should because Atlanta's growing. And so it would just be very weird for them to like have this growing metro and like not invest in a park. Although I will say, if they had to sell it, I've always thought Over Georgia would be a really cool Hershend park, like the same people that own Dollywood and Silver Dollar City. And I'm actually really happy that that company just bought Kennywood and its sister properties. I think that Kennywood really needs some investment and needs some tender love and care, and I think that Hershend is a really good fit for them. I think that it's going to feel a little more like family owned. I think it's going to kind of start to get back to that vibe, hopefully, because some of the stuff that Hershend has been doing with like Kentucky Kingdom and Dollywood and Silver Dollar City, like I feel like Kennywood just like has not gotten the love and care it deserves, and I feel like it's sort of starting to fall out of people's good graces, and that makes me really sad. So I hope that Hershend is able to sort of breathe some life into it a little bit and kind of get it back to where it was. So I'm just like applying a whole bunch because I want to make sure I get everything. You saw me like take the comb and like comb through everything, and just I'm trying to get like all the hairs covered. Like I don't want there to be like a section of my head where it's like, oh my gosh, like you didn't touch this at all. It's not red, it's like blonde, or it's not even, it's like the undyed portion, like it's just like dark hair. So I'm trying to just kind of like keep going over it to make sure I get it. So far I'm kind of liking the color. I mean, I don't know, like I said, if I end up not liking it, like like, the good thing about hair, and especially like with me, someone with short hair, is even if the color doesn't come out and I don't like it, I'll just buzz my head. Like, is that ideal? No. Does my hair grow quickly and I know it'll come back? Yes. I'm not that worried about it. This will be a really fun like Halloween thing. And like I said, I don't want this color to last like 6 months. You know, there are things you can do to sort of get the color out pretty easily. So obviously Universal Orlando is also seeing a lot of change. Like Rip Ride Rocket, I cannot get over how quickly they're ripping that thing down. Like the only thing left is like the first hill, practically at this point. And even that is coming down like pretty quickly. Like it looks so weird. When I was there, the hill was still there and the inverted loop was partially still there. By the time we left, the loop was like almost gone. And it just looked so weird coming into City Walk on the boats and not seeing any of the track that's normally near City Walk anymore. It just looked so weird to me. That area is gonna look so different. And even walking through for HHN, they had us access those houses back there by like basically going under where the ride used to be, but obviously like it's not there anymore. And just seeing them like tear it down and seeing the station just like sitting there like being ripped apart, it was just a really bizarre thing because I just feel like you don't see it that much. Disney could never take a ride down this quickly, by the way. Like if they had announced that the ride was closing in August, that ride would 100% like probably still be able to be run right now if this were Disney. But yeah, there's like a lot of changes coming to Universal Orlando. So like obviously there's going to be a replacement for Rip Ride Rocket. There's been permits filed that they are going to be like changing things in Lost Continent over at Islands of Adventure. I think they've also just announced that they're going to be redoing Finnegan's Bar at Universal Studios. Obviously Epic is probably going to see some changes. I think that they're already planning on opening like 2 new restaurants there. There's already permits filed for like an event space at the front of the park. So we're going to see a lot of exciting things. And I also am kind of surprised that like Simpsons is still sticking around. Like I know it's been heavily rumored that it's going to be rethemed to Pokemon, but like it's weird that like we haven't heard about that at all. So I wonder if like the Rip Ride Rocket replacement will be Fast and Furious, and like is Pokemon going to Islands of Adventure? I don't know, because I feel like Lost Continent people really want it to be Zelda themed, which I too would love that. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen now. I'd love Zelda to be at Epic, honestly. I know it's a heavily rumored thing to happen next at Epic. It's going to be an expansion of Super Nintendo World, and it's going to be Luigi's Mansion. But I just feel like we don't need that because we have Dark Universe. So I prefer it to be Legend of Zelda themed there, and then have Pokemon somewhere over at the old parks. Because I can't believe that there isn't more Pokemon in theme parks. Like it's the biggest multimedia franchise in the world, and they're not in the theme parks. Like it's weird to me. I'm gonna keep it spoiler free, but I did finally also get to do Battle of the Ministry at Epic Universe, and it was amazing. That queue line, walking through the Ministry is just, they really just spent all the money that they could on that ride, and it shows, and it's just wow. The ride itself is also just amazing. I definitely recommend it. I would recommend getting there early because the line does tend to get long and it does break down. In fact, we tried to ride it again and it broke down and we weren't able to. So I would definitely recommend getting there early and trying to do it if you can, but it's a really great ride. I don't think it's my favorite ride in the park still. I would still say probably like Stardust Racers and Monsters Unchained are probably my 2 favorite rides, but if somebody said Battle of the Ministry, like I wouldn't fight them on it or be upset. Y'all are probably watching this like, why are you putting so much on your head? Because I get the job done, that's why. No, but really, I just want to make sure that like I'm covering everything and that I'm not leaving any hairs that are just like awkwardly going to be like not red against an all red head. Y'all are probably just watching this, all 5 of you, just watching this like, what is that queer boy doing? Why is he dyeing his hair red and talking about theme parks? But guess what? You're watching the video. No, I just, I'm always looking for things to like do that are kind of unique, and I don't see people talking about this. I see a lot of people, going in front of the castle at Disney World and like taking pictures in their like outfit of the day or whatever, and people are obviously vlogging because they're there, and I don't live in Florida, and so I can't just like be like, oh, well, I'm gonna do an Epic Universe vlog today and go there. I'm trying to find ways that I can talk about the things that I love in kind of like a unique way, and like I said, I don't see anyone dyeing hair. I don't see that. YouTube, you want unique content? I'm giving you unique content. Give me views. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I am also a travel planner and travel agent, and I specialize in theme parks, but I also do book things like cruises. Really, anywhere you want to go, I can try and book it for you, or if I can't book it, I can get you to people who can. I have a really great host agency with Straws Travel, and it's just an awesome group of people. But if you want to visit Universal, if you want to visit Disney, any theme park really, even if they don't have tickets, I can probably, just charge you something to sort of help you plan an itinerary out. I'd love to help you because like theme parks are just like one of my biggest passions, and I just love helping people have a great time. And for most of the trips, there's not like necessarily an extra cost to book with me. I go right through the vendors, so it's going to usually be the same pricing. And I got to be honest, like they're starting to release some good deals. Like Disney just announced some deals for next year. I think Disney just also announced that you can book through the holidays next year, or they're about to be able to. There's some good deals on Disney cruises. Virgin Voyages has some deals going on right now. So like it's a great time to travel. It's a great time to like buy stuff for your family as like holiday gifts and say, hey, surprise, like let's go on a cruise or let's go to Disney or something. And so if you want help doing any of that, I can definitely help you. I'll put the link in the description, and I just try to make it as stress-free for people as possible and custom plan itineraries and work with you on your budget and get you an idea of what you can do in a day. And I love helping people do that. So if you're interested, click the link and I'd be happy to help you out. And who knows what color my hair will be when I help you. Okay, so I think that we're getting to the wrap up point here, because I don't think that me coating my hair more is gonna really like do anything. So I'm just gonna kind of give it another brush through to make sure that everything kind of got covered. And then I think it's just gonna be letting it sit for a little while to let it all soak in. All right, so my hair is sufficiently coated. One of the nice things about having short hair like me is I'll be able to use that bottle of hair dye like 2 or 3 more times, so that's great. So my hair is sufficiently coated. Now the hard part is just letting it sit for about a half hour without touching anything and getting it on stuff. So I'm going to let this sit for about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna wash it out, and then next time you see me, we'll be able to see the final result. All right, so here's the finished product. I really like it. I think it's just gonna take a while for me to get used to, because like I said, my hair has been blonde for like 2 or 3 years, but it is the color red that I wanted. You can see it's not like fire truck red. It definitely, and keep in mind, I'm standing directly under like a fluorescent light, so it looks a lot brighter than I think it actually is, but it's like a darker red. Yeah, I think too, whenever it fades, it'll also look really good. Because sometimes there's like some colors that you dye your hair and then they fade and you're like, I hate that. I think that whenever this fades, I think it's gonna look really good too. So I like it. I think I just have to get used to it. That's one of the things when you dye your hair is you have to like get back to seeing yourself with a different color. But this color red is really nice. I liked the product a lot. My hair feels super soft. It smelled really good and it didn't stain that much either. So that's also a big plus. But it stuck to the sides of my head pretty well too. So I'm interested to see what it'll all look like whenever it's faded and everything, but I think this was a success. So let me know if you like this video. I know it was kind of weird, so I'm interested to see what you all think. Let me know if you'd like to see something similar in the future. If I dye my hair again, maybe if I bleach it, or I don't know, maybe I'll do it when I'm cooking something and just sort of talk and, you know, kind of have a conversation with you all. But let me know down in the comments what you thought. Like, subscribe, do all this stuff. Click the link if you want to plan your next vacation with me. And until next time, have a great day. Hi, everyone. So you'll notice that my hair is no longer red. Here's the thing. The next morning when I took a shower and I just put some water in my hair, a lot of color came out. And so it sort of faded into like this paler red. And I kind of already, to be honest, the next morning when I woke up, I wasn't sure if I was feeling the red anymore. I actually had wanted it to be darker. Like you can only kind of tell it's red in the sun. I was already on the fence, and after washing it out, it was just too pale. A lot of color came out. And then people were actually telling me that like they could see the blonde kind of coming through on the back. So it was like this weird tie-dye thing. And I was like, I don't like that. So I ended up putting some color oops on it to take it off, which I've done before. And that turned my hair yellow, like caution sign, caution tape yellow, which was not good. So then I ended up having to put some toner on it, and now I'm back to blonde. So I'll be blonde for the time being. I don't know if this means that I'm really lame and I don't like dyeing my hair fun colors anymore, but I really like being blonde. Thank you all for joining me on this journey. Maybe I'll do it again sometime, depending on what you all think. And like I said, link is in the description below if you want to book a trip with me. Write me in the comments and let me know what you thought of this insane video, and I'll talk to you all later.